What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. It is Tuesday, August 31st, and we have, I believe, our first emergency podcast of the 2021 NFL season. Joining me to talk about Cam Newton being released by the Patriots, Ryan Wilson. What's up, buddy?
So this is crazy,
baby.
This is crazy town. So of course Breach isn't here because he's off pulling his best Will Brinson. I'm looking at
probably on vacation.
He's tweeting from his vacation. He just tweeted out Bishop Sycamore, the team that IMG played in the football game, the high school team. Bishop Sycamore definitely is going to go after Cam Newton now. John Breach tweets 7 minutes ago. Yeah. And so there are a bunch of Cam Newton sort of takes coming on. It's weird, though, because here's the thing. Cam Newton played really well this preseason. Like, really well. You look at the numbers. He didn't have quite as many snaps as Mac Jones. So it's a shock that he was released. And part of me wonders if it goes back to another tweet from our buddy Emery Hunt. Someone tweeted at him, so what's next for Cam Newton? And Emery said, getting vaccinated. So, I mean, you have to wonder, the best ability is availability. We've heard that a ton during sort of post-COVID NFL world. Sure. So he missed some time. It wasn't his fault. I grant you that, and he didn't have COVID, but the protocols were such that he was unable to practice. That's one thing. And maybe he wasn't crazy about the idea of this being a Jimmy Garoppolo / Trey Lance situation.
Well, I don't even think it's that. I think that Cam doesn't have any interest in being a backup. And
but I think that Cam probably, I'm just speculation, was presented the opportunity to be the starter or the 50-50 split.
No. I think Mac Jones won the job, and
okay.
I think Mac Jones just went out and took the job. And I think, but look, now to your vaccination point, part of it is because Cam Newton missed 5 days last week and was, potentially not. I've been pointing this out a lot, is that Cam Newton and Mac Jones give you two quarterbacks who you have to have completely different game plans for. If you are going to go with Mac Jones and Cam Newton's your backup, you basically have to craft a completely different playbook for Cam Newton. And if Mac Jones gets hurt in the middle of a game, you have to bring in Cam Newton and run that completely different playbook. Or if Mac Jones and if Cam Newton's your starter, and then all of a sudden he gets, he has a close contact situation and he has to miss 10 days, you have to completely change your playbook at that point in time to prepare for Mac Jones. So I think that played a part in it. I think the difference in how you want your backup to operate the playbook. And also I think that Bill Belichick decided to go with Mac Jones, and he doesn't want to have the pressure of, look, it's a rookie quarterback. You don't have Cam behind him, where it's like people are, not that Patriots fans are calling for Cam to play, but I just don't think Cam Newton is the type of guy you want as your backup.
No, that's right. I understand that. And Cam probably, as you pointed out, does not want to be the backup. He wants to be the starter. Last year was not a good year for him because he got COVID. There was no preseason. He was new to the team. I think he was still injured. This year, he looked much better. I don't think he'll have any trouble finding a job. Our Jonathan Jones tweeted out that Cam might have a much easier time finding a job if he gets vaccinated. But then Adam Rank, our buddy from NFL Network, who's been there forever, said, and he's a Bears fan, he goes, the Pats cut Cam Newton, but the Bears are really going to start Andy Dalton in week 1. Like I said to you guys, as soon as he got cut, the Cowboys should sign Cam right away. But that goes back to your point. Cam's not trying to be a backup. But if the Cowboys sign Cam, that team's the favorite in that division. But again, Cam may not. Well, if that goes down, that's a wrap.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
But again, the larger point is that if Cam doesn't want to be a backup, he doesn't want to be a backup. Now, listen, he never said anything about whether it was the Patriots' fault or whatever. He never complained publicly about the vaccination, the protocol violation, whoever's fault that was. He hasn't said a word this preseason that you might construe publicly as him complaining. Right. I don't know what happened with his conversations with Josh McDaniel and Bill Belichick, but this is every year we get a surprising cut or two. This is clearly the front runner for now, and I'm trying to think. Like last year was
this would top anything else that would come, I think,
because this is a starting quarterback that got the boot.
I mean, 2 weeks ago, Bill Belichick was saying Cam is our starter. Or 3 weeks ago, you were saying Cam is our starter. And look, credit to Tom Curran of NBC Sports Boston, who has been like all over this since Jump Street, saying that Mac Jones should be the starter. And I heard him I think he was on the Rich Eisen show yesterday, and he pointed out that Cam Newton, that back in 2001, when Drew Bledsoe was the presumptive starter and Tom Brady had clearly beat him out in training camp, They gave Drew Bledsoe like 66 pass attempts over the final 3 weeks of the preseason or something like that. Cam Newton's had 23 pass attempts in the preseason. They've clearly have given. I think Bill Belichick came into this hoping that Mac Jones would look like somebody who could start for him at some point in the future. And they got into this process and were like, holy cow, like this kid can start now and we can win with him.
I'll tell you this, a couple things. Number one, let's go back a few months. Who was the loser on TikTok who was pumping up Mac Jones? Who was that guy?
Oh, that was you.
That's me. That's right.
That's
Number one. Number two.
No.
I'm just stopping by to say, fire Ryan Wilson.
Fire you, buddy. Fire you. The other thing I know for a fact, I talked to people that in the Patriots organization, they were shocked at how quickly Mac Jones learned that offense and knew what most rookies don't know.
Hey, by the way, just real quickly, because this podcast is going to end up being short because I have to go do a radio interview with our pal Bill Ryder. But if you're watching this or listening to this live, because we're live on YouTube right now, if you're watching or listening to this and you're into betting or gambling, and this is gambling week on the Pick Six podcast, Mac Jones 10-1, really 7-1 or 7-1 or better. I think I would take offensive rookie of the year. You can't ask for a better situation. And the Patriots should win double-digit games. He's probably going to look sharp. He might not put up huge stats because they're going to be a running-based team. But, I mean, he's going to be efficient. And if they win the division or just make the playoffs, he's going to be right there in the mix for offensive rookie of the year. So I would guess that closes, if it's still out there, probably closes 4-1 or 5-1. So I would go ahead and put that bet in. Sorry, Wilson, go ahead.
No, you're right. Yeah, but the Pats were shocked at how quickly he picked everything up. Yeah. He was doing the pre-snap calls and the line calls and all that stuff. So they were comfortable with him early on. And the other thing we talked about, like the concerns coming in, and this is why you can't take draft season seriously, whether it's me saying things or someone else, your favorite analyst, even the best in the business. You just don't know. Like arm strength was a big question with Mac Jones. Mac Jones has been throwing BBs during preseason, if you watch those games. So arm strength isn't an issue. And I had a scout tell me during the last year that his arm strength is not an issue, but no one wanted to believe him. And turns out that's right. So,
well, and the other thing too, there's a practice last week where Cam Newton is not there because of the COVID protocols and because of all that, whatever happened away from the team. Mac Jones apparently spent like 3.5 hours out there in impossibly brutal conditions, just horrific humidity, like crazy heat. And he was the only one who was passing the football. Like he carried the load in practice. I love that Wilson taking a phone call live on HQ or live on YouTube, probably for HQ, so that's fine. But Mac Jones is the only, like Cam's not there. And so it wasn't, all right, hey, Mac, we're going to give you half the load and Hoyer's going to throw it. No, Mac threw every pass for like I can't remember how long it was, but he was out there just grinding. And I think all that, and in addition to the fact that if you're a Patriots player and Bill Belichick just goes with Cam Newton, even though clearly Mac Jones is the future, that's how you lose a locker room. And the other thing,
the other thing, he ain't trying to wait around for the locker room to get lost.
No, why would he? I mean, like,
well, coaches do that sometimes, right? They sit on it. I'm trying to look real quick what the win total is. I think it's 9.5 for the.
Yes.
Is it 9.5? Okay. So are you more likely to take that over now, or where were you before?
Oh, I'm all aboard the Patriots bandwagon this year.
Over, no matter whether it's Cam.
I like yeah. I like I mean, I guess I sort of like the over more because, it's weird when you say you're going to do a radio interview at 10:40. Like, why would you call it 10:38?
Nothing infuriates you more.
Nothing. Like, I'm not holding for 2 minutes.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I like the Patriots. I don't know if I like the Patriots to win the division, because I think the Bills are a very good football
team. Not after the way Josh Allen played the other day.
But as Aaron Schatz said on today's podcast, the regular podcast where we talked about sort of the futures and betting and all that, it is like the bet is Patriots to make the playoffs, and I don't think that this necessarily changes that too much. Any other thoughts on Cam Newton?
I want to see where he lands, because backup, he could get a job anywhere. I want to know if he's going to get vaccinated, which was a concern, and just in terms of making his life easier and what that situation looks like. So I don't, like, off the top of my head, I don't know what a great landing spot is for him as a starter right now. I mean, the Colts could sign him, but they're in the same situation with Carson Wentz.
Texans?
I don't know if he wants to go to that poop show.
Yeah, but he'd probably be the starter.
Oh gosh, you would regret every single.
I don't think Cam wants to go anywhere where he's not starting. I really think I really think Belichick went to him and said, "Hey, look, man, we're going with Mac Jones. We will release you if you want, or you can stay and be the backup." And I bet Cam was like, "I don't want to be the backup. He'd rather be the backup."
What if he goes to the Dolphins? Deshaun Watson 2.0 in terms of finding a quarterback. I would stick with Tua, obviously.
Yeah. Again, I mean, we talked about this last year with Cam too, where people are like, "Oh, why can't Cam get a job?" It's like, well, part of it is that like Cam is and now a little bit less so just because of how it's played out with being released by Carolina, and then last year wasn't very good, and then being released by Belichick and the Patriots. But Cam is if you've got a young quarterback you're grooming, you don't necessarily want Cam to be your backup. I don't think.
No, that's right. Like Geno Smith in Seattle, you get that. Like Geno Smith, he's a second-round pick, but former starter. Russell Wilson, it's clear who the job belongs to there. But
Correct.
If you're sitting behind a rookie, yeah. I mean, even Jimmy G, you feel like understands the deal.
Yeah, exactly.
And he'll get cut next year, and he'll go somewhere else if that's what happens. But yeah, I don't know where Cam ends up. It's crazy town, and we'll be talking about it in a podcast later this afternoon.
And interestingly enough, by the way, Sportsline's projections come out they have the Patriots for 9.1 wins with Cam and 9.3 with Mac Jones. The win percentage jumps up from 53, the division percentage jumps up for 2.7%, playoffs up 4%, and the championship percentage up 0.3. So pretty significant jump there, an improvement with Mac Jones. There it is. All right, let's get out of here. I got to go do some radio. I assume you got to do HQ. Mac Jones, the starter in New England. Get your Mac Jones Offensive Rookie of the Year bets in, and we'll wait and see where Cam Newton lands next. We'll have a cut show breaking out all the notable cuts coming up later today. See you guys.